Welcome to Menopause Monday. Today I'm talking about gut health, notably the lining of the gut and our microbiome, so the garden of our gut and how the falling estrogen levels affect that. Now, you might find that as you've gone through perimenopause, as you've got into midlife, you're getting more gassing, you're getting more bloating, you're getting more stomach-related issues. That is largely down to the fact that our estrogen levels are falling and it makes the lining of our gut makes it thinner, essentially. You might find also that you wake up with dry eyes. Your eyes might get really dry by the end of the day. Our skin starts to get thinner. Same applies to our mucous membranes and our gut lining. So if you're sort of fairly new to experiencing sore gut or gut related issues, it could well be down to the fact that you're going through perimenopause or you're in beyond menopause, and it's your falling estrogen levels that could be having that negative impact on that. 1 in 4 women in the Western world will struggle with gut-related issues after around the age of 50. It's just one of those phenomena that there is so much that we can do in order to improve our gut health. Now, if you could see your gut health as like the garden that you tend, so we might feed our lawn to keep the weeds out. We might, when we plant new plants, we might put them in a good compost in order to set them up well. It's the same with our gut health. If we're not feeding it with the right kind of food, it's going to suffer. And when we feed it with the right kind of stuff, it's not just our gut health that improves, it's our mental health, our energy levels, our sleep, just our complete sort of, joie de vivre improves when we are looking after our gut health. Now, sleep and gut health have a sort of interrelational thing. When we're sleeping badly, it has a negative impact on our gut health. And if our gut health isn't good, it has a negative impact on our sleep. I know as we go through the menopause, it's really hard to get good night's sleep because hot flushes, that anxiety that might come upon you and suddenly wake you up, maybe sore gut, and various other issues that show themselves during this amazing time of our lives. So just be aware that gut health has a massive impact on our mental health. Now, I say this a lot, but just in case you've not heard it before, 90% of our serotonin, one of our happy hormone, and 50% of our dopamine, another of our feel-good hormones, are created in the gut, not in the brain. So you imagine the negative impact that has on your mental health when your gut health isn't on point. Now, there are various medications that can affect our gut health. Your antibiotics aren't great for it. Ibuprofen is not great for it. Antacids are not great for it. If you're on any of those long term, have a chat with your medical provider to deal with it in a better way. Because, for instance, anti-inflammatories, ibuprofen, that can have quite, I can't even think of the word. It can disrupt the lining of the gut. It can make it more inflamed, even though it's an anti-inflammatory drug. It does have a negative impact on our gut health. It can lead to leaky gut, particularly as the gut lining is made thinner due to our falling estrogen. Antacids, long-term, are no good because we need a certain level of acid in our stomach to break down the food properly. If you're consistently having antacids, you're affecting how well that food gets broken down. And if it's not broken down effectively within the gut, you're going to have a lot of gas and bloating for that reason too. So you do need to make sure if you're taking antacids for a long period of time, talk to your medical health provider, get a better alternative than antacids. Antibiotics tend to nuke the bacteria within our digestive system. Things like multidofilus, they're like little capsules you can get from your natural health shop. Take those when you're taking antibiotics because it will just help to repopulate it with healthy bacteria. So we have this sort of, if you could consider your gut, the health of your gut like your garden, and make sure that you're feeding it with the right kind of stuff. Now, one lifestyle tip which is going to have a massive impact on every aspect of your life is mindfulness. Because when we're stressed, and at this time of life, there are so many stressors, the dynamics with our significant other might be changing. we might be becoming empty nesters. You know, if you've been like a full-on mum and then your children leave home and they become independent, your identity changes so much because you're not needed like you used to be needed. So, you know, and bringing up kids, it's a long-term thing, and it's just like, where am I now? What am I supposed to do? Do I become, you know, what shall I do? And I think there are so many questions that we need answering, and we might not even be aware of the dynamics of how our lives are changing, but we just know we feel different. We feel uncomfortable in where we're at. We feel a little bit lost, and that all causes stress to us, particularly just coming out of COVID. You know, you may have lost your job. It costs a heck of a lot to even fill up your shopping trolley these days. Fuel costs are going through the roof. You know, financial worries are a massive cause of stress for so many people. So there's a lot of stressors out there. So by taking time for yourself, mentally and physically, even if it's just a few minutes every day, is absolutely vitally important, because it's going to support your gut health. It's going to help give you a clearer brain. So you're going to help navigate some of that brain fog that you might well be getting. My brain fog for me was terrible. I've created systems and strategies to help me overcome the brain fog, and I'm certainly not as organized as I used to be before I became perimenopausal, but I'm a lot better than I was. So there is help out there. There are things you can do to help, and I absolutely promise you, I might do a deep dive on the strategies that I've used to help me with brain fog actually at some point. So I think having systems to support us is important on every aspect of our life, not just our health. So when you can tend to your gut like it would be your garden, essentially we have a vast amount of bacteria in our digestive tract. And when we talk about probiotics or healthy bacteria, we're talking about the bacteria towards the end of the digestive system, so the end of the small intestine, near the colon end. We don't want bacteria up near the beginning of the small intestine, so it's sort of further down to sort of the colon area, which we're thinking about having that healthy bacteria. And that healthy bacteria is known as probiotics. But there are things called prebiotics which feed the healthy bacteria, the probiotics. So maybe your probiotic is your, I don't know, a tulip, for instance, for want of a better word. But your tulip needs feeding. So what are those prebiotics? What's the food you're going to give to your tulip to make it grow healthy and strong and beautiful? Well, prebiotics are come in a lot of fiber. So that's why you want to be eating lots of vegetables, particularly green vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables are brilliant. They contain a thing called DIM, which is great if you're struggling with your menopausal symptoms. They might make you a bit gassy and bloated, but you know, that will pass. And it's going to have a positive impact on you. If you're new to eating veggies and you're trying to eat more of them, just know that your stomach, your digestive system will get used to digesting vegetables. If you're somebody who's not really eaten many greens in the past and you suddenly start eating them, you're likely to get a bit windy, but hang on with it because it will improve. Your body will get used to it, and the benefit will be massive to your digestive system, your immunity, your mental health, and every other aspect. Things that are high in inulin are great for feeding our tulips, our probiotics. So foods high in inulin are chicory root. I have a daily superfood shake every day, that contains chicory root. So I've got my inulin. Also contains the adaptogen herbs, which help us manage stress, help us balance our hormones. That's where that mindfulness bit comes in as well. It's not all about meditating, it's about doing things that help you manage your stress best. For me, it's exercise. I'm not a great meditator, but exercise just like blitzes everything. I don't choose to do I do choose to do exercise. For me, it's a non-negotiable. It's like I brush my teeth, I have to exercise. But in the days when I was developing that healthy habit, some days, oh, shall I exercise today? I don't really feel like it. No, it has to be done. It's a discipline. That is my mindfulness. It's also really good for your gut health because it helps keep things moving, but it also helps you manage your stress really well. So you need to work out what an effective way for you to do that mindfulness practice. That might be meditation, it might be yoga, it might be walking in nature. Again, walking in nature for me is another one. I absolutely love it. Come rain or shine, hell or high water, I'm outside in nature every single day, because I know how much better it makes me feel. Plus it gets a bit of ultraviolet on my skin, not so much on a day like today. It's pouring with rain and it's very grey, but it's still beneficial. So you have to work out what's best for you, and you have to stick with it. You have to develop this discipline, that it's not something you can decide to do or not do. Your health is your ultimate responsibility, and it's really down to us to own our health. And I think it's really empowering, because there is so much that we can do to own our own health. So by spending more time on mindfulness practices, and I know you're probably busy, I'm busy, we're all busy. People say to me, I don't have time. Make time. We make time for the things we prioritize. If you're really struggling with time, work out how much time do you spend scrolling on social media? How much time do you spend in front of the television watching mindless shit? How much time do you just waste gossiping? You know, how much time is just wasted? When you become aware of the amount of time you're spending on that scroll, does it really benefit your day? Yeah, you might have a few laughs from a few funny videos, but does it actually benefit your day compared to some mindfulness practice that is really going to benefit your day? It's going to benefit your health at a really foundational level. So we can all make time for our own health. We can all make time. I work with people who, they were working 19 hours a day, and they added their health into that mix. And by adding their health into that mix, they've completely changed their life. They're not working 19 hours a day now. They're working like 4 hours, and they're making 10 times the amount, and they're prioritizing their health and wellness. We make time for the things that we prioritize. So yes, you might be busy. We're all really, really busy. Is it a priority for you? It's important that we have a healthy balance of lean protein and also healthy fats. You might already be getting to the point that protein and some food groups are causing you gut distress. As our estrogen levels fall, it can lead to leaky gut syndrome, particularly if we're not looking after our gut flora. And then leaky gut can lead to other things like diverticulitis, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcerative colitis, all sorts of things like that. So you don't want, you know, if you're leading towards that, you really need to be getting your pre and probiotics. You really need to be focusing on your omega-3, so your healthy fats. And maybe talking to a nutritionist. You know, I think it's a small investment to talk to a professional if you've tried the lifestyle things and they're not working. But I wouldn't do that until you've tried the lifestyle things, because otherwise you've got no point. You can't say, oh yeah, well, I've been eating all the greens and I've been focusing on my omega-3s and I've been doing mindfulness practice and I've still got this issue. Then it gives them a really strong foundation to work with you from and to do the various tests. Unless you've got money to waste, in which case go for it. Eat your heart out. When we have got inflammatory bowel disease, we don't absorb B vitamins ever so well either. You'll find that in a lot of supplements that you get from the health food shop, they contain B vitamins. B vitamins are really important for our nervous system and our brain health. They help us. So if you're struggling with like anxiety and things like that, you want to make sure that you're getting sufficient B vitamins, a B complex, for instance, because inflammatory bowel disease is going to have a negative impact on how many B vitamins you know, how many of the B vitamins you absorb. Zinc is another thing. So zinc is very important for our immune system. If you have any sort of hormonal pill treatment, that can be contraceptive pill, that sort of thing, that can have a negative impact on the amount of zinc that you absorb. So have a look, see what you're taking. Does it have a negative impact on zinc? And if it does, I would get a zinc supplement. Or if you like shellfish, you might be getting enough zinc. Nuts and seeds contain zinc. oysters, zinc, crab, lobsters, zinc. Legumes contain good amounts of zinc. Chia seeds to a degree. Legumes, again, might make you feel a bit gassy. I love chickpeas, but they really make me bloat. However, one quick hack with legumes is things like chickpeas, adzuki beans. If you soak them overnight and then put them in like sort of I don't know, like a container that's a little bit damp in there, and cover it over with some cling film, put it in a light spot. Within 2 or 3 days, those legumes will start to sprout. They'll actually grow little green things out of them. If you eat them like that, the nutritional value of them is amazing. And they also don't have so much of a gassy effect. So, you know, if you can be prepared and plan in advance, wet them, put them in a warm, you know, create a little warm environment for them for a couple of days, and you will see them sprout. It's amazing. But when they're sprouting, that's when you can eat them, and you won't get so much gas from them, and their nutritional value is just like amazing. So sprouted legumes are incredibly important. So I was talking about inulin before. So that's things like chicory, Jerusalem artichoke, bananas, lots of green vegetables. That is our prebiotic. That's fiber, which is incredibly important to feed our healthy bacteria, which are the probiotics, the tulip, as I mentioned earlier. Essentially, we need to feed our probiotics. And that's, you know, by eating a good quality of vegetables and fruit to a degree. Make sure you eat the skin as well, not banana peel, of course, but, you know, if you're eating an apple, don't peel it. If you're eating a plum, don't peel it, that sort of thing. That will help you feed the healthy bacteria. Bok choy is another good one for prebiotics. And maybe do a big batch of vegetables, you know, maybe combine different aspects of vegetables. So like a Buddha bowl. I often make, when I cook a big meal in the evening, I often do a massive roasting tray of roasted vegetables. I sometimes put a bit of balsamic vinegar on them, a little bit of olive oil, maybe some garlic powder, maybe a little bit of chili, mix that all up. And then what I don't eat that night, I just put in a bowl in the fridge. And then for the next day, I might have that with some quinoa, or I might have it with just some, you know, raw tomatoes broken up, maybe some rocket, or some coriander. You know, fresh herbs are ever so good for us as well. But it's an easy, quick thing to grab. And I think when, you know, you might think, oh God, vegetables are so boring. When you've got like a mix of raw vegetables and roasted vegetables and maybe partly cooked vegetables, it actually makes it really, really interesting. You can make like a tahini based sauce for them. You can just melt some butter on them. You can drizzle some balsamic vinegar on them, maybe puree up some avocado with some balsamic, and maybe, you know, a few things that you like. Just get creative with it, experiment with it, maybe make a salsa and add it to it. I would avoid things like shop bought salad dressings, because they're normally really high in sugar, and also the not healthy fats. Make it yourself at home. It's going to be so much better for you, because what you don't want to be doing is eating all the veggies but then sticking a load of stuff on the top of it that's not good for you, because it kind of defeats the object. So make sure that you are just understanding how important your gut health is for your immune system, your mental health. When we sleep poorly, it's another reason why I just say to everybody, try and prioritize your sleep. Take the try out of it, prioritize your sleep. If that means you have to go to bed at 8 o'clock in order to be able to get up to go to work in time, if you get up really early, do it. At least until you've got yourself into a healthy habit, a healthy routine, because it will set you up for so much success. And you might not be able to go to bed at 8 o'clock, but go to bed as soon as you can do, and make sure, you know, you're getting away from the screens a good hour before you go to bed. Make sure when you eat, you're eating no sooner than 2 hours before going to sleep, because again, our digestive system is linked to the circadian rhythms. So if you're a shift worker, it's likely that you are going to be, you'll have a higher risk of developing things like leaky gut, because you're eating when we're not designed to eat. So even more important that you look after your gut health. Every day I have digestive enzymes, I have pre and probiotics, I do eat a lot of garlic and onion myself, and leeks anyway. They're high in inulin, good prebiotics. Water, if you drink municipal tap water, there's often fairly high levels. Well, there's chlorine in it generally. I think different authorities have different levels of chlorine that they put in it, but that has a negative impact on our gut flora as well. So if you have a water filter, that's really going to be beneficial for your gut health. You know, you can get them that go onto the water mains. Those are quite pricey, but you can get like the water jugs with the filters, and also a lot of the refrigerators these days have the filters built into them. Just make sure you keep your filter renewed or cleaned regularly, because otherwise you will have negative bacteria growing up in those as well. Kombucha, fermented, so things like kombucha. Kombucha springs to mind because I've literally I've just made another batch of kombucha. Incidentally, I'm actually going to be running a free group on teaching you how to brew your own kombucha, and we'll be going into gut health in even more detail. That's going to be running sort of the end of February through into March time. If you want to be part of that, if you watch this in time, message me and I'll give you the details of the free group. That's also then going to, I'm going to be following a 4-week gut protocol, which will follow on from that free group. You don't have to do it at all. You can just be part of the brew your own kombucha group if you want, but I will be then taking it on into a 4-week gut health group after that. So you know, it's entirely up to you how much or how little of it you do, but it's you know, I thought I'd just sort of put that out there if you want to explore gut health in greater detail, but also want to learn how to brew your own kombucha, because it's I think it's delicious. I love it. I make a batch just about every week to 10 days. And I've had so many people ask me how I make my kombucha. So we'll be doing the prep. I'll be teaching you or telling you the tools you need to get, or the various things that you need in order to make kombucha, and we'll be brewing it together, and it'll all be online, so you don't have to come to my kitchen. We'll be doing it all online, and various recipes that I use and that I know other people like, and the reasons why we should be drinking kombucha. But kombucha, kimchi, sauerkraut, all sorts of fermented foods are really good for our gut health. They're going to help support that gut health, give you more energy. If you're feeling, you know, I think most of us get to the stage where you just think, oh God, I've got no energy left. That's often related to your gut health. When you can get that on board, you'll notice benefits on every single aspect of your life. So just going over to recap again, because I've covered a fair few things in here. When you drink water, ideally filter it to get rid of the chlorine and the other heavy metals that might be in it. Focus on mindfulness practice, because that's going to reduce your stress levels, and cortisol, our stress hormone, has a very negative impact on how healthy your gut lining is. Okay. Your mindfulness techniques might include things like meditation, might be yoga, might be listening to soothing music, might just be lying in a dark, quiet room, thinking of nothing. I suppose that's meditation, isn't it? Exercise, walking in nature, find what works for you and stick with it. Could be an Epsom salt bath. That's really beneficial too, because the magnesium is really calming on your nervous system. Epsom salts contain magnesium, and if you're lying in it for a good 30 minutes or so, it's really beneficial. I know a lot of people that do that at least once a week as part of their overall gut health strategy. Eat or drink fermented foods and drinks like kombucha. Eat a lot. If you're not eating many vegetables, add vegetables. Maybe challenge yourself, go to the supermarket and find a vegetable that you've not ever tried before, and find a recipe that you can use and incorporate other vegetables with it. Batch cook vegetables, so you've always got some available in the fridge, and then you can add like quinoa or couscous or whatever else you like to it, but at least it gives you the basis. You've got some healthy vegetables there already to stick a few other bits with as well. Avoid shop bought dressings and sauces. Make your own, or just go without. The flavors of vegetables and, you know, herbs and spices that we can use can give so much impact to a dish without any of the gloop that you buy out of a bottle or a packet in the supermarket. I have to, one really tasty salad dressing that I make myself at home, if you want to copy that. It's fresh lemon juice, a little bit of creme fraiche, normally half fat creme fraiche, but it doesn't really matter, and some horseradish sauce. So you probably want, I suppose, if you had a tablespoon of creme fraiche, half the juice of a lemon, and maybe half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of horseradish sauce. Mix that together, add some fresh chopped chives on top of it. It is delicious. It is absolutely gorgeous. That's just one of several, but that's my go-to if I need, like, if I want a sort of creamy-ish dressing, but it's good for you. And be aware that when you look after your gut health, it will have such a positive impact on your mental health. And when most of our decisions get driven from up here, all our decisions get driven from up here, when your gut health is supporting your mental health, you make better decisions, which will then help you support your gut health. It's all interrelated. But if you can do, one of the most important things that you can do, is sleep. Prioritize your sleep, because that will also affect your satiety hormones. So it means if you get good night's sleep, A, you're going to have less brain fog. B, you're going to be more productive. C, you turn white fat into brown fat, and brown fat burns calories, white fat doesn't. D, you're going to be supporting your gut health. E, you're going to be feeling happier. There's loads. You cannot, I think sleep has got to be the cornerstone of everything. And once you get your sleep improved, it has a positive impact on your decision making and every other aspect of your life. Your immune system is boosted. But gut health is incredibly important for our immune system too. So I hope that's been helpful. There's a lot to talk about when it's gut health, because I think you say bacteria, and then it's just like, oh my God, that sounds complicated. Then you start talking about hormone names, and those sound complicated. It's not that tricky. It's just cut out processed foods, reduce your sugars, prioritize your sleep, filter your water, ideally add some fermented foods. And if you want some help to learn how to brew your own kombucha, message me as soon as you can. I can get you into that free group. And then, like I said, we will be leading on to a 4-week healthy gut protocol system after that. It's entirely up to you if you do that or not, but at least you can do the kombucha free group with us first, and then see if it's something you want to go on and learn even more about. But kombucha is one of those things that I have a small glass of it every day. It's refreshing. If you want to go teetotal, it's a great alternative, because it gives you that, it's like no other drink you would drink. So if you drink wine or beer or whatever it is in the evening, because it's a different drink to the tea and the water and the coffee that you've had during the day, kombucha can be a really healthy alternative. When I go teetotal, I save my kombucha to the end of the day, and that's like that's my cut-off drink from the day drinks to my evening drinks. And then I have sparkling water with rosewater essence in it. I like rosewater essence. It just, again, it gives it slightly different to the day drinks. And it helps me stay teetotal when I on the rare occasions I go teetotal. I am teetotal at the moment, actually, most of the time, apart from the odd social event, but I'm not going out much, so it's pretty much full on. I'm feeling better for it, I really am. So I hope that's been helpful for you. Again, message me if you want information on that free group, brew your own kombucha group. And if you've got any further questions, obviously let me know. If there's anything you want me to cover in a future Menopause Monday, again, just send me a message. I can make sure to add it to my list. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and if leave me a comment below. I love it if you can. If you found this helpful, let me know. But otherwise, if you've got anything that I can help clarify, I'm more than happy to get back to you, and we'll respond to all the comments that get left. So thanks for your time today. Make it a great week, and I will catch you soon.